Picture this. It's March 1945. The Third Reich is crumbling. In the captured German city of Trier, an arrogant Nazi officer, General Major Dietrich von Koltitz, sits across from the most fearsome American general of the war, George S. Patton. Ordered to evacuate the city against his will, von Koltitz sneers, "You'll have to kill me." The room freezes. What does old blood and guts do next? This wasn't a movie scene. It was a real, high-stakes moment where one wrong move could mean needless bloodshed. Patton's response became legendary, a perfect snapshot of his brutal brilliance and psychological warfare.
Imagine this scene. The air in Trier is thick with cordite and crumbling stone. It's late March 1945, and General George S. Patton's Third Army has just executed one of the most breathtaking armor dashes of the war, slicing through the German Palatinate at a pace that left the Wehrmacht command in stunned disbelief. Now, in the captured HQ of a 2,000-year-old city, Patton stands before a defiant German commander. The Nazi officer, chest puffed with a fading sense of Prussian honor, draws a line in the sand. "You'll have to kill me." The ultimatum hangs in the air. What happens next isn't just a reply. It's a masterclass in psychological annihilation. This is the true story of Patton's legendary cunning, a moment where his deep, almost intimate understanding of his enemy's fear saved lives and secured a city without firing another shot. The stage, Thunderbolt advanced to Trier. Patton's operations in March 1945 were a symphony of controlled violence and sheer audacity. While Allied planners thought the Rhine would stall him, he turned south and scattered the German 7th and 1st Armies like chaff. Trier, the oldest city in Germany, was a vital logistics node on the Moselle. Against direct orders from Supreme Command to bypass it if heavily defended, Patton's 10th Armored Division took it in a brilliant, hard-fought assault on March 2nd. But capturing a city and pacifying its command structure are different battles. To prevent a bloody, block-by-block insurgency by fanatical holdouts, the remaining German military authority had to formally yield. The adversary, a general named von Koltitz. Here, history offers a tantalizing near-irony. The commanding German officer in Trier was General Major Heinz von Koltitz. He was a cousin of the more famous General Dietrich von Koltitz, the savior of Paris, who would disobey Hitler's order to burn the French capital later that year. But in Trier, Heinz von Koltitz embodied the old guard defiance. Facing Patton, he was a man backed into a corner, clinging to a code that valued honor over reason. His challenge, "You'll have to kill me," wasn't necessarily suicidal bravery. It was a gambit, testing the Americans' resolve, perhaps hoping for a martyr's end or a concession. The confrontation, psychology over pistols. Patton, a student of history and human nature, didn't rise to the bait with violence. He didn't need to. Witnesses recall he let a cold silence fill the room before fixing von Koltitz with his famously piercing gaze. Then, he delivered the lines that would become legend. "Kill you," he reportedly scoffed. "I don't have to kill you. I can just send you to the Russians. You know what they'll do to you." The effect was electrocuting. In 3 sentences, Patton reframed the entire universe of consequences for the German. The legal threat with a savage edge. Handing a high-value POW to an Allied counterpart was, on paper, a legal maneuver. But the subtext was a descent into hell. For a Nazi officer who had fought on the Eastern Front, or at least knew the stories, Soviet captivity meant starvation, summary execution, or a slow death in the Gulag. The Red Army's thirst for vengeance for atrocities like the siege of Leningrad and the massacres of the Volga was well known. The brilliant bluff, it was almost certainly a bluff. The U.S. was not in the business of casually transferring high-ranking POWs to the Soviets. But Patton sold it with utter conviction. He weaponized von Koltitz's own knowledge, his deepest cultural and personal fear, against him. Instant checkmate, von Koltitz's defiance crumbled. Faced with the prospect of a dishonorable, terrifying end versus compliant, if humiliating American captivity, he chose the latter. The standoff was over. With his commander's spirit broken, any organized resistance in Trier effectively ceased. The aftermath, the signature of a warrior psychologist. This incident wasn't an aberration, it was Patton distilled. He wrote in his diaries that to win battles, you must break the enemy's will before you break his army. Here, he did it with words, not bullets. He saved American and German lives, preserved a historic city from further ruin, and cemented his own mythos as a commander who could outthink and out-intimidate any foe. But it leaves us with a profound and uncomfortable question about the nature of command in total war. So, history buffs, we turn to you. Was Patton's ruthless psychological maneuver an act of strategic brilliance that saved lives, or did it cross an ethical line by threatening a prisoner with a fate he himself would not enact? Think deeper, he leveraged the threat of potential war crimes by another power as a tool. Was this the pragmatic, blood-saving act of a supreme commander responsible for his men's lives? Or was it a step into a moral gray zone, where the ends justify psychologically torturing a prisoner? The debate is live. Cast your vote in the comments. Strategic genius or moral overstep? Back up your argument. We want to hear your detailed take. Want to explore more of history's razor-edge moments where character decided destiny? Subscribe and hit the bell icon. We dive deep into the untold stories, separating Hollywood myth from the raw, complex truth of the past.